In this tutorial, we are going to discuss about machine learning. This tutorial is the theory part of machine learning. The theory part will also be in some parts. So it is always better to have some theoretical knowledge of the topic. Then we will cover the practical part. We will cover the coding part. We will do some projects related to machine learning. All those projects will be done with the help of Python language. So if you have some basic knowledge of Python, that is an advantage here. If you don't have knowledge of Python, if you don't know how to use Python for data analysis, how to use Python for machine learning or anything, so you can follow our tutorial also, or you can join the course of Slidescope and you can learn Python from there. Now, what is machine learning? This is the first question. Machine learning is in trend right now. Many people are taking machine learning as their career alternative, and there are some really promising jobs in the field of machine learning. Machine learning focuses on the development of computer programs that can access data and use it for learning. It gives computer the capability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence. So, an application of artificial intelligence that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. So the main concept here is app- we have to develop such computer programs. We have to do such type of coding such that our machine or our code can learn from the data that will be provided to it, and based on that data, our system will be able to predict things. Our system will be able to learn from itself. Now, to understand machine learning, we have a very simple example here. So you will that will help you in understanding the concept of machine learning. So here we have some x values and some y values. Let's say while doing some experiment, we got this data that when x was 0 units, value of y was 30 units. That this can be anything. This can be a relationship between any two physical parameter or anything like voltage and current, let's say. So while x was 0 units, y was 30, while x was 2 units, y was 34, and so on. So we have this data. First, we have to analyze this data. And to analyze this data, we can plot it in a graph. While plotting it in a graph, we can see that this graph is a straight line. That means this we are the relationship between x and y is a straight line. So now, since we have this much input data, we can create a formula that tells us y is equal to mx plus c, because it is the equation of a straight line. Here the coefficient is 2 and intercept is 30. Coefficient, or it is also called the slope. The value of m is 2 and the value of intercept, that is where this line meets the y-axis, that is 30. So based on this data, we can say that the equation of this line is y is equal to 2x plus 30. Now we have it is like a function. We can supply this function to our machine. We can teach this function to our machine, and now for all the future values of x, we have to put the values of x in this equation, and we can get the value of y. So this is really the a very basic concept of machine learning. Not in every case you will get such simpler concepts, but this is a simple concept that can help you in understanding machine learning. Machine learning is like a formula, is like a function. Y is a function of x, where uh, we will get various values of y for various values of x. So we will have some input data, And on the basis of that function, on the basis of that formula, our machine will be able to predict the values. This is how machine learning works. So machine learning focuses on the development of computer programs that can access data and use it for learning. And now whenever there will be some input data, machine will be able to predict the outcome uh, by itself without being programmed. We don't have to program it. Now, next part is need of machine learning. Why do we need machine learning? Applications of machine learning are everywhere. In every sector, machine learning is being used, and we have given some examples that will help you in understanding the need of machine learning. Machine learning enables self-learning capability in computers where they can learn, grow, change, and develop by themselves, as we discussed in the earlier parts of this tutorial. So first thing where machine learning is applicable is transportation. You can nowadays vehicles are available that can drive themselves without any human drivers, without any human interaction. Vehicles can predict the uh, type of traffic. It can drive on the road, on the lines that are made on road. They have been taught from the input data, and they can predict things. They can predict the at what speed they have to go, where they have to apply the brakes, and various such things. Another example of machine learning is the healthcare. It can detect diseases and suggest cures on the basis of medical records, on the basis of previous medical analysis. Uh, Machine can be programmed to detect diseases, and it can also suggest some cures. For example, in case of a machine can detect up to 50 eye diseases by scanning eyes, and it can suggest some cures also. So machine learning is very much helpful in healthcare industry, and it is being used for the development of healthcare industry, and it is used for the development and treatment and everything. Also, machine learning is helpful in device security. You use mobile devices like, or you use laptops and any sort of devices that you use. You can use machine learning for face recognition, voice recognition, fingerprint recognition, etc. So if machine can detect one face, it can learn information about one face, then it will be able to detect it any number of times that face will be presented to it. And same is case with the voice. Based on modulation and various data of voice, machine will be able to learn something about wherever that voice will be uh, kind of applied to it or given to it as an input. Machine learning is very much helpful in the banking and financial sector also. Remember, we are giving some basic examples here. These are not all the examples. They are some basic examples that we are giving just to make you understand what are the applications of machine learning, so that this thing can generate some interest for you. Now, credit card frauds. So there are various programs that can be created to detect the credit card frauds. Something like bank credit score, everything that can also be detected with the help of machine learning. In banking sector, virtual personal assistants are there. Virtual personal assistants are there for mobile devices also, that can give you answer on the basis of whatever data you want to ask them. Some common examples are Siri for iPhone, Google Assistant, Bixby, etc. So these assistant can open or can do certain tasks for you. Suppose if you want to know the temperature of any particular city, they can tell you the temperature of city. If you want to know the stock prices for any particular company and various things they can do for you, they can do a voice search for you, they can do a Google search for you, they can open or they can play music for you. They can do anything. So virtual personal assistant can be used in banking sector also. uh, Earlier, uh, in the earlier cases when machine learning was not so advanced, uh, a support team was required. But since the arrival of machine learning, that support team has can do various other tasks, because most of the common queries can now be handled with virtual personal assistant. And when the queries become complex for virtual or VPA to handle, then uh, you can call the support team. So virtual virtual answers and everything are there in machine learning. So on the basis of input data, whether when to answer what kind of query, for what kind of query, what they have to answer, everything can be taught to a machine. So these are some examples of machine learning, and that is why machine learning is needed. Why is it needed? To make the task easy, to make system more efficient, to make less amount of human interaction, so that machine can do the task for us without much of human interaction. That also enables cost saving in organizations. So since we have some basic knowledge of machine learning, now we have to understand what are the various types of machine learning, what are the various you can say categorization of machine learning. So machine learning is basically divided into these three parts. One is the supervised learning, then there is unsupervised learning, and there is reinforcement. Supervised learning, you can see a graph here. This graph is there to make you understand that in case of supervised learning, task driven approach will be there. That means we have to predict the next value. So in case of supervised learning, an input data will be there and output data will be there. The output data will be labeled, the input data will be labeled. So we will have input and output data both. And on the basis of previous outputs, on the basis of what input, what kind of previous output was there, machine will be able to learn from that previous output. Machine will be able to predict the output whenever will be input in the future. In case of unsupervised learning, there is not, input is there but data is not labeled and there is no such output. So we have to identify the clusters, or clusters can also be called as groups. We have to find some patterns in the data so that we can predict some outcome on the basis of those clusters where that particular thing will belong. Next thing is reinforcement. In case of reinforcement, the machine learns from mistakes. So we will cover all the theory about unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning in the next part of this series, and then you will be able to understand in deep, or you will be able to understand what these things mean, what is the meaning of unsupervised, what is the meaning of reinforcement. We will give you some real life examples about them. In this particular part, we are focusing on supervised learning. For now, you have to learn that machine learning is in three parts: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. And the supervised learning is task driven. So, our focus will be on supervised learning for this part. And in the next part, we will go towards unsupervised learning, reinforcement, and everything theory about everything. Then, some practical examples of every algorithm, every part. Now, when we are talking about supervised learning is further divided into two parts. There are two parts available for supervised learning. Supervised means there is a supervisor. So there is someone to teach. So you can say something like is there is some ideal there. So some ideal conditions are there for us, and we have to act according to those ideal conditions. That can be the understanding for supervised learning. Supervised learning has a classification and regression. So in this particular part, we will focus on classification. In the next part of this video series, we will focus on regression. We will give you some examples of regression. And this thing, regression, is very much based on is very much statistical, based on statistical and mathematical concepts, and it's mostly based on quantitative data, whereas classification is more based on qualitative data. We'll understand that in some parts in the next part of this tutorial itself. So first, let's talk about classification. What is classification? Classification is a model that separates data into distinct classes. What is a model? Machine learning model, something that we are building, a computer program that we want to create. That is a model, a computer program that can predict future values on the basis of data from the past values. So in case of classification, you can see that there is an icon here which is denoting male and female. So this is one type of classification, that based on the properties of males and female, based on some input data about male and female, we can classify the data, whether uh, suppose an unknown person, we have to predict the gender of an unknown person. So based on the previous inputs, based on the properties of male and based on the properties of female, our system will try to predict the outcome, that what this particular person is. Next thing is regression. So some basic information about regression is, based on previous input, machine predict continuous output value. So the important part is continuous output value. Like we mentioned, you can say in case of regression, we'll deal with more numeric problems. You can see, let's say for some values of x, or some there are some values of y. In the earlier example, you saw that for values of x, there were some values of y, and when we kind of plotted the values on graph, we saw that output is a straight line. So they are related in such a manner that output is a straight line. If the value of c is 0, if the value of c is 0, that means the line passes through the origin. That is the basic concept of calculus. Now, in case of regression, there is an icon, and from this icon you can see that the blue dots are the actual data. That means the output is not linear, but we have to fit a line. And since the output is not linear, creating a formula will be very difficult. We will not be able to create such type of formula for it. So to create such type of formula, we have to fit a line between these dots, and this line should be such that the distance between uh, this line and the dots should be minimum. The root mean is square. You can say the square of the distance, the sum of a square of the distance between these dots and this line should be minimum. So we will cover all that in practical examples. We have covered an example about linear regression using Tableau. So that is, we have analyzed the data for per capita income of Canada. uh, that video is there in our channel itself. I will also place the link of that video. So if you want to get some basic idea about regression, you can follow that video. But again, since we are doing machine learning, we will cover all the theory and mathematics and statistics related to regression in the next part of this tutorial. But for now, we are focusing more on classification. Classification, a model that separates data into distinct classes. Now, since we are talking about supervised learning, we can understand supervised learning with the help of an example here. So based on the data from 4600 and one emails. A program was developed to detect email spam. If you are using any type of email like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Rediff Mail, whatever email you are using, you can see that data. You can see that the emails are classified into various parts, like the important email or the genuine emails that you are getting are in your inbox, and the suspicious emails or unwanted emails that the computer thinks are not necessary for you, they go straight in the spam folder. So in this case there is some input data and there is some output data. So in this 4601 emails we have input data and output data, and in that input and output data we have some particular words, style of writing, IP address, suspicious link, and many other things that helped us, or that helped the developers of this email detector program. These things help them in analyzing what type of emails will be classified as spam and what type of emails will be classified as email. So there are two output classes here, that whenever there is a email, it can be classified as either an email or it can be classified either as a spam. So we have you can see that output data is labeled, output data is class here. So on the basis of let's say these 4600 emails, and on the basis of information in those emails, the input data and the output data which we had in those emails, email service can automatically filter the suspicious emails as a spam. Now the important thing, the definition of machine learning tells us machine will learn that and do it automatically every time. There is no need to program it again and again. So whenever there is an email in your whenever you get an email, that will be classified either as genuine email or a spam email. And sometimes machine makes mistake, and that's why you have option to mark them not a spam. So on the basis of that data, on the basis of your feedback, the system will learn, and from the next time that email will not be marked as, or the email from that source will not be marked as spam. So this is a very basic example of supervised learning. Another example of supervised learning is uh, handwriting digit recognition, handwritten digit recognition. So you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have digits up to 9 here, and these are, and we have handwritings. These are written by different persons, and that's why you can say, let's say for 2, you have various versions of 2, and such type of data is used for analyzing or used for classification, that what it can be, so that from the next time whenever someone will write something, whenever someone will write that number, suppose we have to predict pin code, suppose there is a postal service and pin code is written there. So a machine can scan that pin code, and it can scan and then it can assign the location that this or it can filter that some information about that postal data. So although the data here is quantitative, or although the data here is numerical, but in this case it is a problem of supervised learning, because these are 9 output classes, these are 9 possible outcomes. So this is a classification problem. Whenever, so machine will, we will feed the machine, we will machine will learn from this test data, these sort of writings. It will scan it, it will try to scan the pixels, it will try to find the patterns in it, and then on the basis of that machine will be able to classify digits as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so you can, if the if there are some, let's say some phone numbers are there in a handwritten format, so a machine, a scanner can be there, a scanner can scan that, and we can detect what is the phone number, and we can save that number in our database. So if you have to type everything, that will take too much amount of time, because that will require human interaction. But if a machine is able to learn from it, a machine will be able to scan the data and save it in database. So this is case of supervised learning. This is a, we can say that it's a block diagram of supervised learning. And in case of supervised learning, we are now dealing with classification, right? So in case of classification, we have input. Again, these things, because these are in the section of supervised learning, so supervised learning can be a problem of classification also, and can be a problem of regression also. But now we are dealing with classification, so we have to understand this block diagram. Here there is an input, then there is some algorithm, and then there is some class. So what this block diagram is telling you is, there is a predictor. Predictor is the input. Then there is some algorithm like KNN, decision tree, support vector. We will discuss about these algorithms in the later part. K nearest neighbor, decision tree, support vector, and various other algorithms are there. These algorithms are developed by scientists to help us in machine learning, help us in developing programs for machine learning, give some input data, and this algorithm will be able to split the data into test and training sets, and then on the basis of output data, it will be able to understand for what sort of inputs what kind of output can be there. So this algorithm is the main thing of machine learning. You have to understand what type of algorithm, or what algorithm should be applied in what which particular case, in which particular type of problem, and that is what you have to learn in machine learning. Then you have to understand the syntax of all those algorithms. So that's why you have to understand the theory first. The output data is qualitative in case of classification, like some label data. We'll discuss about that in this section itself. Here is an example of classification learning. I hope this will help you in better understanding of classification problems of supervised learning. Supervised learning, where we have input and output data, we have some ideal data that we can look up to. Um, so we have an image of boy here, and we have an image of girl here. This is available data that is there in the past, or that is there in the data set. We have some properties of boy, we have some properties of girl. Like if you see a tabular data, let's say height, weight, color, length of hair, and everything. Suppose, so we have some data about boys and we have some data about girls, so that uh, we can classify them. And we have output data also. So model at the model training stage, we will give input and output to our machine, that for what type of input, what will be the output. Output can be either a girl or a boy. So in the case of model training stage, we will feed the data with the input and output data. And when there is an unknown data, that is the prediction stage. So on the basis of those inputs and outputs that model had in the training stage, it will be able to predict the label for unknown data. So in case we have given an image of girl here, and our machine is predicting that this image or this data belongs to a girl. A label of this output is the output label is girl. So this is a very basic example of classification. It can be, we can take another example also where we have, let's say, a square is there, triangle is there, and let's say rectangle is there. So property of square is four sides, all sides equal. Property of triangle is three sides. Property of squares is four sides but two sides equal. So on the basis of those properties, the model will the model understands that it is a square, it is a rectangle, it is a triangle. And next, if you will supply a random figure, like if you will supply a square to it, so it will be able to, on the basis of the property of that thing, it will be able to understand it. So we will deal with some examples of supervised learning, and then you will be able to understand more about this thing. But we are dealing with the theory of it right now. Another example of supervised learning is the bank credit score. Here rating is the labeled output. You can see that for credit score of 300 to 579, rating is very poor, 580 to 669 fair, 670 to 739 good, and so on. This is percentage of people. This data is unnecessary here in this case. So credit scores are used by lenders to make decision about whether or not to offer credit, such as credit card or loan, and at what terms and what conditions, at what interest rate and everything. So here the output is predictable. Here we have some input, we have some model input, and we have some model output for it. And suppose next time we have credit score of any particular person, whatever formula is used to calculate the credit score, it will be between 300 and 850. So whichever is the closest member to it, or so data will be classified according to that, and their rating will be given. That you have a good credit score, we can give you loan. You have poor credit score, we cannot give you loan. So things like that. uh, Taking the example of bank credit score, in some cases savings in bank account and income are also considered before offering loan to customers. So that means if you have some saving in your bank account, and if you have some regular income, so that is the case. In every classification problem, there is a discriminant. This is the formula that we were talking about, right? Discriminant is there. Discriminant is a function. It's used to differentiate the examples of various classes. It's like a formula that if credit score is between 300 and 579, rating will be very poor. If it's between 580 to 669, it will be fair. So this discriminant is there in every classification for problem. So our first focus is to find or to create this discriminant, this function, to predict that formula that we are looking at. So here you can see a graph is there. On x-axis we have income, on y-axis we have savings. So if someone has a higher income, let's talk about this point here. Someone has a higher income but savings are less. That means he is unable to save something from it. So the data will be labeled as high risk, that you cannot give loan to them, or you can say they have a low bank credit score. If someone has good amount of saving but they have low income, then also it's a high risk. But if someone has a steady income and a steady saving, all those points you can see here. So we have a threshold here. This theta one and theta two are the threshold that we have calculated on the basis of our discriminant function. This is called a predictor or prediction stage. That on the basis of this data analysis, we can see that uh, which customers will fall in low risk zone and which customers will fall in high risk zone. So this is a very basic example of classification. We will understand more about classification. It is now, let's talk about some real life examples of classification, and one very important example of classification where we have to classify the data, where we have to, like, for every person there are different attributes, every person has different features. So pattern recognition is one such classification example. Pattern recognition is the automated recognition of patterns and regularities in data. Now you are getting the words here. Patterns and regularities in data means one is written. If you are writing one, then everyone in the world writes one in the same way. If you are writing, let's say, alphabet A, everyone in the world write alphabet in the same manner. There are some regularities, there are some patterns in A. Although everyone has different handwriting, someone has poor handwriting, some people have very good handwriting, but the patterns and regularities are there that will help the computer in understanding that alphabet A is written here, or alpha or digit 9 is written here. So we have to find something like that in machine learning. That is a very interesting thing, and algorithms are already there that will help you in kind of analyzing those things. So that is one advantage here. Classification of data based on knowledge already gained or on statistical information extracted from patterns or their representation. So this is another thing. So the knowledge or information that we have extracted from the patterns or their representation will be used to predict the future, to predict the output on the basis of future inputs. So we have some past inputs and we have some past outputs also. But and on the basis of that data, we have found the regularities, we have found the patterns in the data. And whenever is a new input, we'll be able to identify it. So these are some examples. We discussed about face recognition earlier also. So your face has some parameters, width, height, depth. It can be, and where the coordinates of your eyes, coordinates of your nose, and everything. So, uh, so your face, if you draw a face on a x and y plane, so you can give coordinates to various parts of your face, and on the basis of that, a machine will can learn from it, learn from that data, and whenever that face is presented to it, it will be able to recognize and tell about it. Optical character recognition, or OCR, is another thing. OCR is very much helpful in kind of converting the physical form of data into digital form. Let's, for example, books. We have printed books. Old printed books can be converted to digital books, and optical character recognition is very much helpful there. You can detect phone numbers, you can detect pin codes, and data entry becomes easy. Database management becomes easy with the help of OCR. Time, we can save time and we can save money. Speech recognition is there. Uh, Speech to text conversion, text to speech conversion. This is another example of speech to text conversion. In particular, is an example of machine learning. Uh, every person has different accent. Every person has a different style of saying things, and so in case of speech recognition, you cannot program, you cannot do the coding for speech recognition. You have to make your machine learn and understand from the phonetics of words. Means what, you have to make them predict that what this particular person is trying to tell. So speech recognition is there. Multimedia document recognition. Multimedia documents are there that can be recognized with the help of that come under the category of pattern recognition. That is the problem of classification, supervised learning. Automatic medical diagnosis is there. This is very important field, and it is very important for the healthcare industry. Biometric identification is there. So these are some examples of classification machine learning, supervised machine learning, where we have some input data, where we have some sample data from which we can sample input and output data, from which we can predict the output data for future inputs. Now, in case of supervised learning, we have some classifiers. Although this classifier thing is much more complicated than this, which what we are showing here. There are many types of classifiers there, but for this session, we are keeping it simple. We are keeping it simple so that you can understand what we are trying to tell here. There are binary classifiers. In case of binary classifiers, only two distinct classes are there, or there can be only two possible outcomes. For example, male and female. So if we have like the example which we demonstrated earlier, so outcome can be either male or female. Another example which we discussed was spam email and non-spam email. Emails can be either it will be a spam email or non-spam on the basis of whatever data is there in the email and whatever our discriminant function is telling us, our machine will be able to predict that whether that is email is spam or non-email. Whatever data we have about males, whatever data we have about features and attributes of male, and whatever data we have about features and attributes of female, will be able to predict if a photo, let's say an image of a male is shown to a machine, from the data it will be able to predict that it's a male and it's a female. Although machines are not 100% always 100% accurate, but uh, research and development teams are working to create better and better systems. The more data the more sample data which will have, the more we'll be able to predict better. Another example is author of a book, and positive and negative sentiment in any let's say social media comment. So if there is a news, people are commenting about that, so a machine can detect that people are showing positive sentiments towards that news, or people are showing negative sentiments towards that news. So this is another field where a lot of work is going on. Then there are multi-class classifiers. There, like in case of binary classifiers, we have only two outputs. In case of multi-class, although there can be some classifiers where which we have only one output data. So, but if we have one output data, then there is no need to predict it. That's why we are starting it with binary. In case of multi-class classifiers, more than two distinct classes. So let's say types of soil. So types of soil have bituminous and everything, whatever types of red soil, whatever types of soil is there. So types of crops are there, maize, barley, and other types of crops. Mood, feeling in songs, music, uh, or you can say category of movie, or genre of movie, like sci-fi, action, drama, whatever. So these type of classifiers are there. So what we are trying to tell is, whenever you will have a data set, in that data set there will be some properties, there will be some features or attributes for distinct people. Let's say we have information about, let's say we have medical information about 1000 people. We have information about their blood pressure, their height, their weight, their hemoglobin level, the value of creatinine, and everything. Their SGPT, SGOT, bilirubin, and liver function test. So whatever we have, whatever data we have there, that data for every person we have, let's say, eight or nine such uh, values, and on the basis of that value we are telling that whether that person has, and also there's some output that whether that person has diabetes or not. So every person will have their own values, and for every person we'll have these 9 parameters, and there is only one output parameter. But on the basis of this 9 parameters, on the basis of these 9 values, we have to predict the outcome. We have to predict whether the person has diabetes or not. So in that case, that will also be a case of binary classifier. We'll have two possible outcomes. Diabetes will be 0 in case of 0 diabetes. There is no diabetes in case of 1. It person will have diabetes. So we will try to cover this example with the help of KNN algorithm. So we will teach you all the coding needed, and we will give you information about the data set from where you can download this data set, and we will have that information. So this is the data which we are talking about, and it will help you in understanding what we are talking right now. These are some input parameters, and this is the possible outcome. If the outcome is 1, that means this person has diabetes. If the outcome is 0, that means this person will not have diabetes. So the data which we have in this data set is age of every person, diabetes, pedigree, function, body mass index, insulin values, skin thickness, blood pressure, glucose, pregnancies, and everything. And this data is for distinct people, right? Different people. Every data is for different person, and that's what we are trying to tell. For every person, we have some input values and we have some output. And in the prediction phase, we will provide the machine all these values. We will provide these values to our machine. That will be this, all the numbers that are coming here will be there on the basis of records of that particular person. Suppose if you go to some pathology, and if you do the test, and if you ask for test, and they will give you a test report, and you will have these parameters with you. So you can enter that these parameters in a machine, and the machine will tell the probability of whether you will have diabetes or not. This is a very basic example to understand things. We can do it with the help of KNN classifier, and we will do this project. So for now, let's go back to our presentation. So we are discussing about classifiers here, and next thing. So this covers pretty much